What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to Tour Junkies After Dark, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We are the Tour Junkies. I'm DB. I got Pat Perry with me. We just finished recording our own podcast for the Shriners Hospital. No, sorry. They took the hospital part out. Shriners Children's Open 2021 from TPC Summerlin in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's late at night. We just finished recording our show. We've had our podcast juice. We've had a good time tonight.
A lot of people are having this week in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, we've had a good time tonight. We've broken it down from every possible angle, but tonight we're here to deliver the goods from a DraftKings Sportsbook perspective, to talk about some outrights and some top 20s here on a Monday night that we think you need to pay attention to. Before we get to that, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, the subscribe button. If you haven't done that already here on the DraftKings channel, do that, okay? Do that. Sam Burns just won the Sanderson Farms Championship. We had a debate on our own show who's going to win a major first, if any, okay, out of these four young studs: Viktor Hovland, Scotty Scheffler, Sam Burns, or Will Zalatoris. In the comments here on YouTube, tell us who you think wins it first, all right? Let us know. Pat, tell us what we need to know about the golf course. There's plenty, they can go to our YouTube channel or podcast and hear about the course at TPC Summerlin. Of course, we're all very familiar with. They can go to the DraftKings channel and watch Pat Mayo. He can tell you about the golf course. But what is the stuff that the bettors just really need to know or keep in mind about TPC Summerlin?
I think a few quick things. It is a par 71 this week. It's just under 7,300 yards. We've got a little elevation here. This is a course that distance really has not mattered at all.
Yeah.
You look at, one of the stats that seems to show up a little bit this week that doesn't normally show up is driving accuracy. We see a lot of shorter hitters win here. I mean, you can see that in the past champs like Martin Laird last year, Kevin Na, Rod Pampling in 2016. Smiley Kaufman won here. This is where Smiley Kaufman became famous, winning here. But look, it's a full field event. We've got 144 players. T65 and ties are going to make the cut. You look at the grass surfaces here. We've got Bermuda grass tee to green, but then bent grass greens this week that usually run pretty quick, and they're kind of tricky. This course is all about positioning off the tee and on the greens. You gotta be good in both spots. Okay, so you gotta hit fairways, and then you gotta hit these greens in the right spots. A lot of the longer hitters here, like Brooks is here this week, and whoever else, they're gonna dial it back off the tee just so they can get in there in good position. And then scoring. I mean, look, we've seen anything from 20. Around 20 under is probably going to win here this week, just like we saw last week with Sam Burns winning at the Sanderson Farms. Exact same thing this week. So birdie or better percentage, opportunities gained, the scoring stats, those kind of things we're going to look at this week. And that's really about all you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Pat mentioned the little bit of elevation. The air's thin up there. The ball's going to go far. These Bermuda fairways tend to run as the desert tends to be pretty dry, okay? So shorter hitters can play. Webb Simpson and Ryan Moore hold the 72-hole record here. Jim Furyk, Kevin Na, Martin Laird have all won at this tournament more than once. So, you can definitely play here and just put your ball in the fairway, like Pat said, be in the right position, hit it close, and make some putts on these bent grass greens that are pretty large, and do your thing. So it's pretty wide open. I think you got to be in some form. You got to come in here ready to make some birdies, all right? So that's the biggest thing. You got to be ready to go low and score. Let's talk about the top of the betting board, Pat.
Okay.
Top of the betting board on DraftKings Sportsbook, Brooks Koepka, you mentioned, is your favorite at 16-1. Now, I think you and I would agree here. This is a tournament to avoid Brooks Koepka. First of all,
absolutely
not a major. Okay. Second of all, I think the only reason a couple reasons he's here. I think one of them is tune up after the Ryder Cup. He's got the CJ Cup next week, which is a no-cut money grab event, right? Also in Las Vegas. So he's coming in. He's getting settled. He's going to party this week. He's gonna.
Jenna, his girlfriend, has a lot of places that they need to be.
That's the second reason. Yeah, Jenna's here. They're going to be on the town doing her photo ops and stuff. Brooks is just here to have a good time. He may not be here for a long time, and by a long time, I mean Saturday and Sunday's rounds. So I just don't think it's a smart play at 16-1. Louis Oosthuizen, Webb Simpson, Abraham Ancer at 18-1. Hovland, Scheffler, Zalatoris, English, Sam Burns, Kevin Na, and Paul Casey round out kind of the shorter names up to 25-1 here on DraftKings Sportsbook. Two names I like, and both very different games, actually, which is that's kind of how this tournament is. One is Willie Z at 22-1. Will Zalatoris is coming in. Obviously, he looks to be pretty healed up from an injury that he suffered late in the year last year. Came in, finished 11th at the Fortinet just a few weeks ago, 14th last week at the Sanderson Farms. He's played here before. I think he finished 5th last year in his first time out. This is a place perfect for Will Z. I mean, a birdie fest. Yes, I think 22-1, you roll with it. The next name is Kevin Na, a former champion here, who is deadly accurate off the tee. He's a great putter. He's a Vegas guy, lives in Vegas, very familiar with this golf course. Feels like this is one of the best courses on the PGA Tour rotation for him. And he's a winner. Every year, Kevin Na is racking up a win. And this is one of those places I believe he circles on his calendar and says, I can get it done. He's married. He's a family man. And Kenny G played at his wedding. So that guy is not getting into a lot of trouble in Las Vegas. At 25-1, I'll take Kevin Na. That's probably it for me until we get into that more longer mid-range.
Okay. Well, I hear you there. Here's another guy, and I love Zalatoris this week. I don't mind Kevin Na. I think Scotty Scheffler at 22-1. I think that's a good number for him. That's about where it is if you look at, other places, and I think DraftKings has a great number there at 22-1. Look, I wonder about, Scheffler. We have not seen a win from him on tour. They mentioned that a lot at the Ryder Cup, actually, where he just took out Jon Rahm, the best player of the world, in the singles match. I think that may have given him a lot of confidence.
Yeah, he's got to be confident.
This is still a great course fit for him. He's a great ball striker, great off the tee. I think Scotty Scheffler at 22-1 is really I think he could be a lot shorter, and he probably would be shorter if he had a win already on tour. I think he'd probably be if he had a win on tour, you would see him around where Abraham Answer is at 18-1. But I think because he doesn't have a win yet, you're getting a little bit of a better number there at 22-1. So I like Scheffler right there at 22-1.
Okay. All right. I don't mind it. I'm a big Scotty Scheffler fan, so of course I don't mind that one. All right. As we get further down the board on DraftKings Sportsbook, kind of that mid-range, short of 100-1, I'll give you three names here. The first one is at 45-1, and it's Siwoo Kim, who's played here 3 times. He's got a 15th place finish, a 55th, and last year finished T8. Oh, is he in good form? Yes, he is. Finished 11th at the Fortinet, 8th at the Sanderson Farms, runner-up at the Wyndham in one of the final events of the PGA Tour season last year. He checks a ton of boxes off the tee, strokes gain approach. He hits it close. He makes a ton of birdies. This is a great spot for Siwoo Kim. He's proven that over the years. The putter is warming up. If you look at recent rounds, love him at 45-1. And then I'm going to go with a couple guys at 60-1. The first is the Aussie Mark Leishman, which, I feel like is kind of a name that's not getting a lot of love in the streets right now in terms of DFS, or not a lot of talk, not a lot of chatter. He's never played this event before, but coming off last season, his season ended at the BMW. He started the Fortinet Championship just a couple weeks ago, and he finished 4th. All right, Leishman, a known ball striker, iron player, accurate off the tee, and a tremendous putter, and a winner, right? Like, he can close a door at 60-1. I like that. Speaking of someone who seems so close to closing a door, we almost hit him a couple weeks ago at the Fortinet. Maverick McNeely is also 60-1. He's played here 3 times. He's missed the cut twice, finished 37th in his one made cut. But the thing with Maverick McNeely is the form is too good to pass up. When we had him at the Fortinet, he finished runner-up. And he's had just a really nice run since about May on the PGA Tour. A very good putter, kind of good all around, Maverick McNeely at 60-1. If the irons are just decent, the kid is hot fire. So I'll go Mav McNeely also at 60.
All right, a few more for me here. One being a guy that I just want to win. Like, can he just win? Cameron Tringali at 35-1. I love the guy. He's been playing extremely well all year long and just has not won yet. At 35-1, I like Tringali there. And then
almost won yesterday. Could have won yesterday.
Yeah, could have, but he didn't. Another guy that I like is Matthew Wolff, right there at 40-1. I think that's a good number for him. Look, Wolff is as a guy that's part of these young guns like Victor Hovland and Morikawa and Sam Burns and all these guys, and he's won already. And I think this is a good course fit for him. Everybody seems to want to put him in and like box him into these courses where you have to be long off the tee. I don't necessarily think that's his course. I think he can play well on courses where you don't have to be long, where you can be creative off the tee, where you can hit spots and you can hit, where you don't have to hit driver. I actually think he's better than people think in those situations. So I like Matthew Wolff here at 40-1. And then another guy a little bit longer, Taylor Gooch, is at 70-1. He's a guy we've seen in good recent form. He's played well in this course before. He's checking a lot of boxes when you look at the stats. So I think Taylor Gooch at 70-1 is another guy that could make a lot of sense here as an outright bet and possibly get a win. He's another person like Tringali who's threatened a lot to get wins but just has not. And so I like Gooch there at 70-1.
I like Gooch. He hasn't knocked on the door quite as much as Tringali, especially in the last year, but he's been close. All right, give me some bombs, Pat. Give me some outright long shot bombs.
Okay, a few long shot bombs that I like this week. We'll start in that 100-1 range. Hey, I've said a lot of times that Luke List never won anybody money.
Stop! You're not about to give the people Luke List.
But guess what?
You can't do that. You have completely flipped the script after
because I changed the narrative personally. I did it myself.
Come on, man.
Sometimes in situations in life,
God dang,
you have to make changes, and you have to be the one to make those changes and to propagate those changes.
Yeah, this late at night, you just used propagate?
I don't even know if that's a word.
I actually think you may have used it correctly.
But Luke List won people money last week. And I've always said Luke List
won a lot of people a lot of money.
Will never win anybody any money, but I think he could win people money again this week. And he's at 100-1. I like him. Luke List could win this week.
I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, we'll see. But
by the way, we had a tremendous interview with him on our YouTube show. If you want to go on our YouTube channel, if you want to go check that out, just last week it came out.
Yeah, a couple others I like, and I'm going to steal one from you because you've stolen him from me all night long. So in this show, I'm going to steal him from you.
Okay,
Troy Merritt,
Amish Troy, yes sir.
Yeah, 150-1. I like him this week a lot. I think he is. I mean, he's fantastic this week. And if you don't want to play him to win at 150-1, go top 5, 30-1, or top 10, 13-1. But either way, I like some Troy Merritt this week. I think that's a good number for him. Last play that I will give you, and I'm gonna go really long here. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm going.
Talk dirty to us, Pat. Talk dirty.
I mean, that's what has to happen on this show. Sam Ryder at 200-1. I'm a big Sam Ryder fan. I liked him last week. I didn't mention him at all. I should have, but he finished well last week. He scores a lot. This guy is a scorer.
He's aggressive.
He had like at least 2 or 3 eagles last week, and I think 3 like streaks of 3 birdies or better like in a row. So Sam Ryder, he can score. You're getting him at 200-1. I think this is a good course fit for him. He's finished well here in the past. If you don't want to do that at outright, you can get him at 40-1 as a top 5, or even 20-1 as a top 10. So there you go.
He finished 51st last week, yet finished 7th in birdies and 1st in eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a course where, 23 unders won the last 2 years. So you got to be able to go low. If he could just stay away from a couple of big numbers, Sam Ryder could definitely be an interesting one and maybe a top 20 look as well. All right. Outright bombs. I'm going to go with, I'm just going to give you 2 here. Stefan Jaeger at 130-1 and Henrik Norlander at 130-1. Jaeger's coming off the Korn Ferry Tour, but this is his 3rd time advancing from the Korn Ferry Tour to the PGA Tour, and he's lost his card. but he's the winningest player on the Korn Ferry Tour. He knows how to close the door. He knows how to slam the door when he finishes or when he's up there close to the top. Had a good week last week, I think, with a top 30. He's an accurate player, good ball striker, makes a ton of birdies. Stefan Jaeger is legit, and he's 130 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. And then finally, Henrik Norlander, who we saw play really well last week. Henrik, local guy to me in Augusta. We know Henrik. We've had Henrik on our show before. He's 130 to 1. Henrik has always been legitimately a top 10 iron player on the PGA Tour, like the whole PGA Tour. Like, including all the studs that you all know. He's been
the whole of PGA Tour.
All of it. If you look statistically, his irons have always been phenomenal. The putter has been the problem, but when he putts well, he is in contention, and he's gained strokes putting in 4 of his last 5 events, including last week, where he also gained over 8 strokes on approach and led the tournament in that. I think Norlander continues to ride the hot form. He's a family guy. He's not the best looking dude in the world. He's not going to get in a lot of trouble in Vegas. He's older. He's a little wiser. He's in his, I think he's probably like 34. So, that's older for some of these young guns. So he's not going to get himself in a lot of trouble in Las Vegas is what I'm saying. He's 130 to 1 outright and plus 450 in the top 20 market. There's a slew of top 20s, Pat, at this plus 550 number. Yeah. You already mentioned one, Troy Merritt. But plus 550, you guys, which is a long shot. These are long shot top 20s, if you're interested. Troy Merritt, Nick Watney is plus 550, who just finished runner-up to Sam Burns yesterday and is a Vegas guy and familiar with this golf course and putts the lights out of it. He's plus 550. A guy you were on last week who had a great finish this past week, Denny McCarthy, is also plus 550, another accurate kind of dink and dunk, supreme putter kind of play. And then Adam Schenk, who is plus 550, a better ball striker than maybe some of those other guys at that same number. Also a good putter, also had a decent finish last week. Just missed the cut on the number. Had a decent finish, I think, the week before. So Schenk at plus 550 is an interesting number as well. Any other top 20s for you?
I'll give you a couple because I wouldn't just. I mean, I like that 550 number.
Yeah,
and I think when I'm looking at top 20s, I think that's just a value number that you just kind of zero in on. But don't forget about guys like Henrik Norlander at plus 450. I think that's a good number for him. I mean, you got Stefan Jaeger at plus 450. I think that's a good number as well.
2 guys I just mentioned, by the way.
But you didn't mention him as top.
I mentioned Norlander. I did not mention Jaeger. I mentioned Norlander as a top 20 as well, plus 450.
Well, you were like saying plus 550, and then you moved to plus 450.
I started with Norlander at plus 450.
Yeah, well, nobody's paying attention to that. Nobody's paying attention to that because you said I like you started it with I like a lot of guys at plus 550.
No, I didn't. I went from Norlander as my last outright, said he's plus 450 as a top 20. By the way, there's now a slew of guys at plus 550.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
See, that's a transition in the biz.
Anyway.
Pat. A segue.
Did you talk about Nate Lashley at plus 650?
No, but I mean, he's riding back-to-back top 20s right now.
I think Nate Lashley right there at plus 650 as a top 20 is a really good number.
I like that. That's a long shot
number for him. So
think about what you're going to have to bet on Sunday for the NFL to get plus 650. You know what I mean? Nate Lashley's just done it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Surely he'll do it a third week in a row, right? Yeah.
He has to.
That's an auto bet.
Auto bet.
Love it.
Anyway.
Good stuff. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a subscribe. Comment. And thanks for watching the Tour Junkies After Dark presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Check us out on Tour Junkies on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's have a great week. The Shriners Children's Open, Sands Hospital. See ya.
Oh!